John, I haven't seen you since October. Obviously, it was a fun fight, a great fight. But talk to me about that. I mean, what kind of lessons did you take out? What was your feeling after having a great fight like that, but coming up a little bit short?
Man, it was frustrating because, like, anytime I used to go out, like, just a straight banger and just going for the kill, they were like, no, you couldn't do that, because I fought Demetrius that way the first time. And they're like, no, you might have knocked him down 5 times in the fight, won first 1 through 3 and lost the last 2. But yeah, he danced around a lot quicker movement, had more style than you did. And I did that to John Lineker. I sat there, was on the outside. I hit him pretty much 400 punches more landed than he did. And they're like, no, that's not good enough. I was like, why? Oh, he moved forward. Moving forward is the new line, the first thing that they're going to account for. Like, I thought it was landing shots and making them miss. But it's a lesson learned. I just got to be wild and crazy and just be myself and stop pretending I'm going to go to the judges' scorecards every single time and look for that finish. It's
kind of interesting because Aljamain Sterling was saying kind of the same thing the other night, with that he feels like he had to change up his style a little bit because maybe judges don't necessarily, maybe don't know what they're looking at, or maybe they're looking at something a little different. Did you have to think about that maybe the judges aren't seeing what you're doing right, maybe you got to tweak it a little bit?
Well, I just figured that they can't judge a knockout. If I finish an opponent, there's no way that they can tell me that I didn't win the fight. So I'm always going out there looking for the finish and don't leave it to anybody else.
That's funny. Did it make you think about your place in the division? I mean, he's basically a former flyweight as well. So, but I did wonder, did it make you think, was 135 the right move? Is this not the right place for me? I mean, did you think about any of that at all?
Nah, I just thought that they got it wrong, and I already know I should have been fighting. I should have fought TJ instead of John Lineker. That would have been a way better fight. I would have been getting taken down easily, like a Lineker was.
Frustrating.
Oh yeah, because I'm like, I wouldn't get taken down. I would have hit you there. I wouldn't need you there.
That's funny. We'll talk about TJ in a second. I did want to ask you about Demetrius Johnson. Obviously, we got to see him. He said straight up, you're the toughest fight he's ever had. I wonder, because you got this future going at bantamweight, and I think you probably have a bright future here, but do you think about that at all, especially with him setting records and doing all these things? Do you think about maybe going back there?
I think about it all the time, but the fastest way for me to fight Demetrius Johnson isn't going to be back at 125. Like, look at the chance that Joseph Benavidez got. He's been dominating at 125 division, but he's sitting there under the umbrella of Demetrius Johnson. He's sitting there in that shadow, and he can't sit there and cast his own because of the fact that everyone wants to look at him. And since that's like the #1 dude that they want to highlight all the time, no one else is going to get that recognition. Nobody's going to want to see Demetrius Johnson versus Joseph Benavidez 3. And I really want Joseph to get that chance and be able to do it, but no one wants to watch that.
It's about selling tickets, right?
So what possibly can happen is you see the 125 champion fight the 135 champion. It would be against DJ versus JD.
I like it. I like it. So you got to get yourself to the title, and then maybe he comes up to meet you.
Of course, because he's been setting records. He can set as many records as possible. But what would be the ultimate goal for him? To beat a guy that has that 135 title, can he possibly get that one too?
I like it. I like it. Well, let's talk about the 135 title. You know, obviously pretty interesting right now. Garbrandt came out of nowhere looking like a stud. Of course, you have a history with Dillashaw. They got that bout lined up. What do you think we're going to see out of that fight?
Well, those two got more history than I do. Like, they were former teammates, training partners, and not only that, one of them ended up leaving on some bad terms. Like, TJ sat there, was a champion at one point in time, and he couldn't beat Dominic Cruz, and he had a very close fight, but at the same time, just couldn't get that win. And look at Cody. Came out dusting Dominic Cruz. Not only did he dust him, he made him look silly and stepped him, and just pretty much stepped over him to get that title. So for me, it's interesting to see what they're going to be able to do. Is there a real grudge between the two of them? Does Cody have the upper hand on TJ, or does TJ have the upper hand on him? We don't know what happened in training and what's going to play out in the octagon.
You feel like you match up better with one of them? Obviously, you know TJ, how you match up with him. But do you feel like one of them is a better fight for you?
Both of them are good fights. Like, Cody's an awesome dude. I think that he has real potential, but I think my speed will be too much for his power. Like, TJ is there, and everybody already knows that I would always love to get my hand on him. He's a very accomplished fighter, and he's done so much since me and him fought the first time, and it'd be good to see what he has learned for the second time around. I think that he'll last maybe a minute longer, but the outcome's still going to be the same.
Does Cody's hand speed impress you, though? I mean, I know obviously you might be the fastest guy in the game, but he's got some quick hands.
He has quick hands, good eyes, and great movement. The only thing that I'm really worried about Cody is how much tattoos is he going to have compared to me.
He'll definitely dominate you in that department.
I know. I'm like, dang it. I think I'm going to draw something on me. Probably maybe like that Iron Fist tattooed on me. Like, what's that? It's my new symbol.
right, well, you got to get through Eddie Wineland first, of course, to get to there. Eddie Wineland, talk about the matchup because when he's on, when he's clicking, he's fun to watch. He's got great boxing, great technique. What do you think about him?
Man, I love Eddie Wineland. I've been watching him since he started. Like, he was the first WEC champion. He came in through the ranks. He's making sure he was plowing through people, and he did it in a unique style that he made you miss and hit you with that counter right every single time. And the thing that was different and very unique about him is he kept his hands at his boob level. Like, he was always just cleaning his chest all the time. What's the truth? I was like, do, 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 do. And
well, I was going to say, so how do you feel you match up to him? I mean, is your speed going to be the answer to that, basically? Because, I mean, again, his movement is nice.
His movement is nice. His counter movement is so that he can be very precise, but we've seen him get hit with people with left hooks, and we all already know I throw nothing but lefts. So
what do you think, man? You think this one gets you in that mix? I mean, there's a couple guys in front of you now. Obviously, the loss set you back a little bit, but I feel like you got to be right there in that top. Do you feel like a big win here can get you maybe in the discussion to perhaps get a title fight later this year?
I hope. I can keep my fingers crossed, but we already know how it's going to be. Like, everybody that I wanted to propel myself to go before this fight has already said no. Like Rafael Sanzao, Aljamain Sterling, and of course Jimmy Rivera, when he sat there and said, oh, Dodson's not a good fight for me. Like, I'm not going to take him last minute. I'd rather take Marlon Morales, or what was Marlon Morales?
Vera.
Yeah. Like, he wanted to take Ochita Vera there. And he wanted to fight him, and then it got pulled off because he didn't want to seem like a bully. He could have tried bullying me. I would have been okay with him trying to do that because I would put him to sleep. Show that his style is too slow, too weak, and he's not going to be able to compete with me.
You think maybe that's a fight that makes sense for you after this because of that little almost history there?
Any fight sounds good to me. Like, I can fight him. I would rather fight Jimmy Rivera just because of the fact that he thinks he's better than me. I'll fight Aljamain Sterling because he thinks he's a funk master and he had such an awesome performance last weekend. Rafael Sanzao sounds amazing to me as well, but we already know that he doesn't want to fight a young, fast, strong killer.
You're sending out challenges, man. I like it.
I'll take anybody. Like, if anyone gets hurt for the title fight, just let me know. I'll be on call. I'm on standby. Like, I will answer the phone call. Like, I even called out Tony Ferguson when Khabib couldn't make weight. Like, I was ready. I just want to fight. People always complain about they don't want to fight. I'm willing to take any challenge in any weight class.